So Alejandro, it was great to hear from you. And The Exorcism of God was such a great movie. I mean,
Thank you.
I've seen movies that were like The Exorcist or inspired by that movie, and this was one of the good ones. So great job on it.
Thank you. I really appreciate your words, and I feel excited that you have a great time watching it.
So it says here listed as the co-writer of the film. Where did the inspiration for this movie come about?
Well, it came from my devotion and passion for good horror movies. I find like the good horror movies are those that can scare you and make you feel really afraid and terrified, but also they tell a story that is filled with meaning and value, you know. So I wanted to develop something like that, and for that we create a concept in which we are talking about how can we expel God from our body by falling in temptation and committed sins. You know, it's a very basic concept, but original, and I feel excited because I feel the story has a great production value, even that we made it with a low budget. It's really scary and it's full of emotional impacts, but also it invites you to come into the very tough and very strong dilemmas of a character that is tormented by his past, by his sin, and he has to make a final decision that will reveal his true human nature. So I find this story it respects all the conventions and principles from the genre, but it also brings very original elements that will scare you and excited, and also will make you to bring reflection and debates.
Yeah, I feel like with this film, I mean, you usually see one of these possession movies, you know, you don't usually see the priest get possessed or in a state where he has to redeem himself in some way. And so I felt this was a fresh take on that. And I gotta say, Will Beinbrich did an amazing job as Father Pete. And what was it like working with him?
It was amazing. He's a brilliant actor. He's full of sensitivity, and that guy was into the skin of the role for basically almost 3 months. You know, like every time I was shooting the movie, he was walking from one place to another one, tormented and hitting walls and really suffering the trauma of Peter, and I feel that honesty. You can feel it in his eyes and all his performance on the big or small screen.
Yeah, I actually felt for him, because even from the opening where he had to make that decision to forego the Vatican and just perform the exorcism himself, I knew right away. I was like, "Oh, this is going to end bad." I know it.
Yeah.
And then, and then you flash forward 18 years later, and here he is. You know, he still believes in God, but yet he's kind of broken at the same time. And I really think, you know, so I think that's great.
I love that ambiguity. You know, like, okay, what is the most important thing? Like, my faith for God, or my love for the people I want the most, I love the most.
Yeah, and I gotta say, Joseph Marcel, man, I'm always gonna remember him as Jeffrey from Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Everybody does, yeah.
Yeah, and here he is in like probably the most serious role I've seen him in, and he did a fantastic job. He was like he was like the Max von Sydow of this movie. He's like the priest that wasn't gonna take anything from anyone. And he must have been great to work with.
Yeah. He's a very beautiful person. He's very humble. He was very compromised with his role, and I mean, he's an icon from the comedy of the show, The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, but also he has a very powerful presence as a theater actor. You know, like in London, he has played like all of the most important Shakespeare characters. He has a great experience. And I'm very happy with the result, because he brings some freshness to the story, and he makes you laugh to relieve the tension for a little bit, but also he's strong and he helps Father Peter to move the story forward as his mentor.
That's great. And what I really liked was the special effects of this movie, because I'm so glad that horror films are now going back to using practical effects rather than the CGI effects. And I don't know how you did it. I don't know who the team was behind this, but I got to give kudos to them, because that opening scene where we see the young Magali just go like insane, I was like blown away, and she scared the living crap out of me.
Yeah, it's very, very scary. Yeah, and we designed together with production design and the FX makeup artists from America, these very creepy characters, not only the possessed characters, but also the demonic versions of Jesus and the Virgin, in a way that they look really disturbing and terrifying, but a little bit funny, you know, and I find that very, very interesting because they feel real, and that's the magic of practical effects, that they feel like they are really happening. And also the VFX, they help to improve the other effects, and basically I feel this is the result of the limitations we had with the budget, because we made the film with a very low budget, 1.3 million, and from some people from the industry in Hollywood, they feel like we made it with 5 to 7 million. And basically, this is the result of trying to find a way to tell the story with the resources we had. So we were creative to create a special effects on set. You know, like they feel real and powerful, but basically we did it with nothing.
That's good. I mean, you made the most out of the budget there. I mean, you know, a lot of people complain, like, you know, they spend like what, $25 million to erase someone's mustache. I think we know what to talk about there, but, you know, digitally. But I mean, 1.3 million. I mean, you made the most of that budget. But overall, it was a great film. Besides the budget, what other difficulties did you face during shooting?
Wow, I think the budget, it was for sure the main issue. You know, like we were always, we never had enough time to shoot everything, and most of the sequences, as you can see, were very complicated stagings and very complicated moments, because they are full of action and horror and jump scares and special effects. So wow, I was really tired, because we also shot a lot of sequences during the night, and that really makes you feel exhausted. Like it was so hard to wake up and say, okay, I need to have the strength and the energy to still moving forward. You know, even during the last days, my first AD, he got sick. So basically, I was in a church in Mexico with 100 extras, and I don't know, 0 degrees. I don't know in Celsius. It was zero Celsius. I don't know in Fahrenheit, but maybe a very low temperature, very cold.
Yeah.
I had no voice, and I was performing the first AD and also the director.
Oh man.
Oh, so my brain was about to explode.
It's like 30 degrees. Oh my God. That's
Yeah,
that's like 30 degrees. Yeah.
I was trembling, and I was full of stress, and I almost faint because I had no energy, but the passion keeps you on your feet. Right?
Oh yeah. That's exactly what you need. The adrenaline to keep you
Happy
going.
we made it. I hope for the next one we had more resources to make something bigger, and and not to get exhausted so much like we did.
Yeah, I gotta ask, with Will's character, I mean, you get to see him in both a clean cut looking, you know, short hair, and then you see him with the long hair. Of like, was that, because you mentioned 3 months, was that like, did he actually grow his hair out, or is that just was that a makeup job? Was that that was actually him like 3 months later, like looking like that?
Yeah. Basically, when we had no beard, that was like the very first sequence in the movie. It was the last one that we shot, you know, because we need him to be shaved and
Oh, okay. I'm gonna be talking to him next week, so I was like, I better ask you first.
Oh yeah, that will be awesome. Yeah, and basically there is so many very good VFX that they are there not to be tell. For example, we made younger Magali with some VFX, you know, her neck, some wrinkles in her eyes, some houses in this town in Mexico. They were actually like very new houses, like very modern and very beautiful houses, and we convert them in all the dilapidated houses and the rain, even sometimes the wet floor, are some like even some nights that shot of the shores during the night that it looks creepy and dark. It was shot during the day, and we transformed it in night with VFX. So those guys made an excellent job, because they
with a 1.3 million dollar budget. That is really impressive. I'm not gonna lie. That's that's so much better than what we see from these big Hollywood movies that spend like so much money on digital effects. I mean, that's just mind blowing.
Yeah, I'm very excited, and for that we're looking for very talented people in different countries from Latin America. The VFX team was from Argentina, for example, and basically the cost in theirs were lower, so I had to find for the right balance between the lowest prices but the best results possible to elevate the production value.
Oh, that's crazy. So this was your first film in English, because I know you did a Spanish language film. Was the language barrier hard for you, or you picked it up like it was easy for you to converse
It
with
was
the
was
actors?
hard because sometimes I was talking to Mexican crew and American actors, and my brain was like, okay, Spanish English, and I was like I'm confused, like okay, in what language I have to think, but yeah, in addition to that, there was no more risk, because I mean my English is not perfect, but I was living in LA for a few years, and I got it, and basically, I am excited to share my stories with American audiences after I had the opportunity to develop the American remake of my first feature film that I'm still working on it. So yeah, I want to get into Hollywood and share my stories with worldwide audiences. So I'm working hard for that and very excited to share my vision.
Well, I'll say this: the horror community in America. I mean, I've talked to a few actors and filmmakers. They are like they're like a big family, and I'm pretty sure with this film, they're going to welcome you with open arms, and I sure hope they do.
Oh, thank you, man. Thank you to hear that.
So finally, what's after now that this movie's coming out? What's next for you that you can talk about?
Well, as I said, I'm developing the remake of House at the End of Time that I feel is a very unique, original, and powerful story. It's really mind-blowing and scary, but also emotional. And I'm also attaching a couple of American horror movies. One of them is called God Pool, and it takes place in a paradise, in a very unique place on Earth that is called Tayos Caves in Ecuador. And also, I'm attached to direct a film called The Vessel that is written by Harris Borman, the writer of The Exorcism of Emily Rose. Maybe I'm considering to develop the sequel and prequel of Exorcism of God, depending on the results. In Latin America, it has been amazing. It has been a huge box office success, even against Hollywood titles. We were at the number one
Nice.
in the Brazilian box office, number 3 in Mexico, 3 in Argentina, 2 Colombia, and that is amazing. And a lot of people is asking for the sequel, So let's see how the American audience respond, and if it's successful, why not? Why
Yeah, I
not to
hear
make the
that.
prequel?
Oh, I'd be all up for a sequel. If you do a sequel to this, I'm in. I'm definitely gonna watch this.
Thank you.
Because I would love to see a follow up to this. This is such a great movie.
Thank you.
So anyway, anyone who loves wants something fresh on the whole demonic possession versus priest type, they're gonna want to check out The Exorcism of God. It's such a great film, and I'm telling you right now, this is gonna be Alejandro's ticket to the American horror community. I hope to get to welcome him with open arms, because I sure would. And thank you again so much for taking the time to talk about the movie.
Thank you, man. So excited, and just want to invite the people to enjoy this film in select theaters or all the VOD platforms in America. And yeah, I hope you like it as much as we do.
All right. Well, you take care, and I can't wait to see more of your work.
Thank you, man.
All right. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.